Hello everybody, my name is Tilly, and I have a follow-up video about Zootopia 2. Last August, if you recall, I made a video about the first Zootopia, expressing my questions and concerns about their economy, their way of living, their wage gap, and my main point of interest from my last video was, where are the birds? There's no birds, there's no snakes, no amphibians, no reptiles, no nothing. One of those questions is answered in Zootopia 2. However, the majority of my questions still remain unsolved. And if anything, the only thing that the second movie does is raises so many more questions. Another point of reference that I have from my last video that I made about Zootopia is the way that the wage gap or the economy works, because like I said in my last video, just to sum it up, are big animals getting paid more to do jobs because they're bigger, their houses are more money, their cars are more money, their food is more money. So it's like, are we discriminating? Like, would an office job discriminate against an elephant because they can pay a sheep less to do the same job, blah, blah, blah. Watch my last video. But I wrote down some key points of interest from the second movie that I want to go over. Basically, the second movie is about how the Lynxes, this like super corrupt family in Zootopia, are taking over and trying to run as many people out as possible. They're discriminatory, they're racist. The racism is very crazy in this movie, by the way. Worse than the first one, I would admit. And they were like, fuck you snakes, we don't want you here. We're gonna bury your neighborhood in snow. A snake came up with the wall ideas to have different kinds of ecosystems in Zootopia. Like I mentioned in my last video, how there's a jungle district, there's Tundra Town. The Lynxes, everyone thought they came up with that idea. No, it was a snake. So a snake, Gary, comes to Zootopia to steal this book that they like have that belongs to his family to like flip the script. So anyway, let's go over my notes. Still no birds! There's no birds in Zootopia! Where are they? At this point, I am willing to believe that Rio is canon in the Zootopia universe because there's just no way that there's no birds. Where are the birds? There's reptiles now. There's amphibians now. No birds. There's also dolphins. I'll get into that. So, snakes and reptiles, though, that begs the question. Were birds subject to the lynx's racism too? Do we think that the lynxes had pushed out birds that may have used to live in Zootopia as well, the same way, the same thing that happened to the snakes? I feel like that's plausible. The fish! The fish! The fish! There are fish in Zootopia, too! There are dead fish in Zootopia 2. There is a scene in like the marsh or like the bog, if you will, where there is a conveyor belt of dead fish being ridden up the conveyor belt, chopped up in a grinder and thrown out into like the water. And also the seals and like the whatever the fuck, the walruses, whatever they are, they have buckets when they're performing for fish, no coins. That's kind of a point in the movie. So, animals eat other animals in Zootopia too. So, this is my thing though. There are dolphins that are sentient in Zootopia 2. But there are no sentient fish in Zootopia 2. So what constitutes what animals are sentient and what animals aren't? Because then I was thinking, well, maybe lower life forms just aren't sentient, because there's also a scene in the bog or marsh, like in the bar, where they eat like grubs and flies. So the grubs and flies and the bugs, so that answers one of my questions. The bugs are not sentient. I mentioned that in my last video. The bugs are not sentient. So I was like, So are lower life forms not sentient? But the little mice, those are lower life forms and they are sentient. So then I was thinking, maybe it's mammals. Maybe only mammals are sentient in this world. Wrong. Dolphins are aquatic animals. They're mammals. And also, like, snakes aren't mammals. The snake was sentient. So it raises so many questions. Why is it that the bugs and the fish aren't sentient? But, like, the fish aren't sentient, but the dolphins are. The bugs aren't sentient, but the mice are. It doesn't make sense. It makes no fucking sense at all. I need to know what the thought process is when choosing which animals get to be sentient and which animals don't. And I don't know if the creators of Zootopia are really thinking about it is as in-depth as I am. And I doubt they are, but I think they would appreciate my input, because it makes no sense that fish would be non-sentient creatures, but dolphins are. And to be fair, there's no proof that the fish aren't sentient. We only saw a clip of dead fish. We've only ever seen dead fish in Zootopia 2. So then it's like, are the fish sentient? Are the fish sentient, but like they're killing sentient fish to eat? So then it's like, it's low-key kind of like cannibalism. Like, yeah, like a seal isn't eating another seal, but this is a sentient seal eating a previously sentient fish. So you're killing some dude, like some real dude, just to eat him. So it's like, there's really no proof if the fish are really sentient or not, because we've only seen them when they're dead. So then I'm like, are we killing the fish to eat? Because what else are the seals gonna eat, right? I don't, freaking, what is it called? The ecosystem map, the freaking, the map, the freaking, with all the lines and animals and whatever. Right. But, what, if the fish are sentient and they are killing the fish, what justifies killing sentient creatures in their world? What justifies, oh yeah, this fish has a family and children, but you need to eat, so kill him? What justifies that? What justifies that? But here's the thing. We know that the grubs and worms that the amphibians and the reptiles eat, they're not sentient, because we see them crawling around and wiggling about in a bowl, and they're seemingly non-sentient. So it just begs the question to me, what justifies killing the fish? Should they be sentient? We don't know. The second movie was amazing. It was so good. And the plot twist with Paubert really got me in the end. I was so disappointed. I thought he was so cutesy and like, he's just a nice guy. He's not like the rest of his family. That really got me. It really got to me. I liked him. The movie was great. 5 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. But unfortunately, this movie only raises more questions about their world for me and answers half of a question I had. Still no answer about their economy, their wage gap. Still no answer about the birds. So what I hope is that the next movie, pray to God there's a Zootopia 3. I pray to God that we either get a movie about the birds or movie about the aquatic animals. One or the other. We can either go Finding Nemo, or we can go Rio. So yeah. That was all I had written on my notes. And yeah. Thank you for watching my video. Let me know of any conspiracies or theories that you have or any questions you might have about Zootopia, because I'm very passionate about this, as you can probably see, and I would like to hear your input. So, yeah, and if you haven't seen it, watch my previous Zootopia video that I made last August. It should be like a good precursor to this video. So yeah, thank you for watching. I will see y'all later.